Hi, my name is Justin Chang. I'm a realtor in Toronto, and we bought at the Maverick.
Hi, Alexa. Ravi Singh with Remax Hallmark in Toronto. Justin and I run a small boutique team focused on the city as well as the East End, and we purchased an Empire Maverick. For me, selling pre-construction condos in the city, I'm fairly familiar with the process. In terms of what I wish I knew ahead of time, um, there's always this gut in your stomach about whether or not the appreciation will happen. Pre-construction, generally speaking, is priced at a premium versus resale in the same neighborhood. In hindsight, I just wish I had started much earlier because the evidence of a market uptake in the city has happened. And had I known, I probably would have bought 10 of these over the last 10 years.
Yeah, so Alexa, when I first bought my pre-construction condos, my first one with a couple of partners, the thing that we wanted to know first was whether or not we should buy them in our personal names or whether or not we should incorporate ourselves and then buy it in a corporation's name. We ended up doing it the corporate route the first time, but this time around with the Maverick, we bought it in our personal names. For me, I think the best part about it is just being able to kind of like celebrate it together and just being able to, mitigate the risk between all of us at the same time. We share the rewards as well. I think that's probably the best part.
And also, just from a financial perspective, Alexa, there's less stress on one person to come up with the entire deposit at one time. So, cutting a check for $30,000 is, it's doable sometimes, but cutting a check for a portion of that, takes a little bit of the pressure off. Co-buying a condo for us is an experience that allows us to, further our mandate as a team to promote good projects in the city. The other thing about co-buying, and I think that this is another benefit outside of sharing risk, sharing reward, and celebrating the reward together, is co-buying allows you to diversify. So, let's just say you were putting $100,000 into one project. Well, if you were to put 50 into two, you have more. Justin, he was the one who, said more than once to me, I'd rather own 12 pieces of 12 great properties than three properties by myself.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Ravi's saying, like, I've always been a type of person about collaboration, and I feel like, the more people that are involved, the more that we can accomplish. So that's kind of, my whole mindset about that whole thing. So my advice is, just try to find people who are like-minded to yourself and who are on the same page as you, because a lot of now that the city's becoming a little bit more unaffordable, it's how you got to get your foot through the door sometimes right now. Is just being able to partner with people and being able to just accomplish the first purchase.
We bought at the very, very, very first day. We went to the Empire office, which is up in Vaughan, and we met there. We signed the agreement. We picked the floor plan. We picked the Joker, which was a great floor plan, very sort of square, one bedroom. It did have Juliet balcony. It did not have a outside balcony because Maverick doesn't offer that. But it was a really functional one bedroom floor plan with uh, with an east exposure. So it faced over, the rest of Restaurant Row. We wrote the agreement. We initialed and signed each page where it needed to be initialed and signed. We did this all in person. This was prior to distant purchasing and social distance and virtual. Justin and I, we wrote checks. Now this is interesting for co-buying. The checks happened to come out of my checking account. So everybody was basically delivering the deposit amounts into my account, which then was used for the deposit checks to purchase in Maverick. When we signed the agreement, we were very happy, right? Because it was a big accomplishment. We were super excited that we got this unit. I believe that Justin, you might remember better, but I believe it's on the 10th floor, which is kind of just enough high up enough that you're up over the ground, but you're not up in the sky, and you're not paying the premium for that. Upon signing, Danielle was there, Sophie from Empire was there, the builders executed the agreement, and we left with the full package. We took that to our lawyers, and we had a 10-day cooling off period. During that cooling off period, we gave the lawyers the opportunity to read over the agreement, to discuss all of the schedules that were attached to the agreement. And being somewhat familiar with this process, some of the schedules that were attached were an extended deposit structure schedule, a cap levy schedule, the right to assign schedule. Justin, am I forgetting any?
I think that's it for the Maverick.
Yeah, so
Maybe
there
the
was
right to lease. Maybe the right to lease during occupancy.
right, and I believe the right to lease during interim occupancy. So we had those schedules attached. The lawyer read over everything, provided us a report on the agreement, and then we firmed up on the purchase. So that was kind of like the process right around the signing. Anything you want to add, Justin?
No, that pretty much covered everything. I think just the main important thing when you're co-buying is just um, whoever's delivering the checks just has to make sure that the other partners are depositing their money in time into that partner's bank account. So when the installment does come out of their account, then there's sufficient amount in there. Yeah, so I mean, I think what it was is that we saw that potential of the Maverick, and we were right in the front ground selling it, or in the process of being able to sell it. So I think just at that point we weren't able to do it on our own, but we wanted to be part of the project some way somehow. So we decided just to partner up on that.
One of the other things worth mentioning, Alexa, is certainly people would love to buy it all on your own, right? There's a benefit there, and you don't have to share in the risk and reward. But sometimes, especially in Toronto, and Justin mentioned this, there's this property ladder that you want to climb, right? Perhaps we will sell this and earn a pretty profit on it, and then go buy other things, or perhaps we'll hold it forever. But one thing I think worth stressing is the decision to co-buy is really another way to get into real estate investing, right? Like, if you're fortunate to have 200,000 sitting around, great. If you only got 25,000, there are ways to start leveraging that.
Well, I think, I mean, me and Rav, we look at floor plans pretty often, so we kind of know what advantages and disadvantages certain floor plans do have. But if I could remember correctly, the Joker was a very rectangular layout that was very practical. It had a good size for the square footage. It had a good size living space, and it had a good size bedroom. Um, and again, if I could remember correctly, I think it was placed very well on the key plan, where it wasn't beside garbage chutes or anything like that.
And just to add to Justin, the things that I think are worth looking at off plan is number one, and these are just practical things. Where do you put a TV? Number two,
Hmm.
what size bed can you fit in the bedroom? Number three, what's the storage like in the unit? And number four, if you're setting up your kitchen, is there a space to put an island, right? And the Joker checked all those boxes.
I think it's kind of a whole package of everything. Like the builder's reputation is definitely one of them. The fact that the Maverick, they had amazing amenities, including this social private club that they're going to introduce. And then also just with the floor plans, I mean, we look at resale condos all the time, and we know which floor plans our buyers like and which floor plans our buyers don't like. So I think we kind of had to look at, sort of the points that Ravi was mentioning, like, is there a practical place to put the TV? Is there a practical place where you can put some sort of eating kitchen, whether it's on an island or it's a small dining table, or can you fit a queen size bed in the bedroom? Like things like that are kind of the main things we look at, and especially because we're investors, we're looking at bang for your buck as well. So in terms of the square footage and the practicality and the price points we got it at, that's kind of what we focused on.
Great answer. I think, just to echo what Justin said, build a reputation and location, as well as price, are all three things that investors should be looking at specifically. We know that if we buy from, the marquee developers in the city, like Empire, we are buying from someone who has a vested interest. Um, there are a lot of things in that location that I know are driving up value. We actually, as a team, we have investors in every single building on that corner. M5V, Festival Tower, Cinema Tower, Bisha,
King
Char
Blue,
King Blue,
Nobu.
Nobu, like we've got them all. So, to buy on that corner, I mean, that's like for us, that's like that is the center point for where a lot of the wealth and the money is moving for high rise.